Hi, I'm Rob at the Hayneedle Fulfillment Center in Monroe, Ohio. This is a short video on the assembly of the Bond Wood Burning Fireplace. The estimated time on this assembly is approximately an hour, and the only tools you will need is a Phillips head screwdriver and a 10mm wrench, both of which are not included. We'll start by opening our box and removing our pieces. Remember, when using a sharp object, to always cut away from yourself. Cut along the seam, making small incisions so you don't damage your product. After you remove all of your pieces, locate your instructions. Inside, you'll find a parts and hardware list. Take a brief inventory to make sure you have all your pieces needed for this assembly. Our first step is to attach our rear panel and our two decorative panels to our pedestal. To do this, we'll be using our hardware, our two longer bolts, our 4 flat washers, 2 spring washers, and 2 hex nuts. Match the holes in your decorative panel with the holes in the pedestal. Then match the hole with your back panel. First, using your long bolt and your flat washer, place in these holes. Then from the opposite side, using first your flat washer, then your spring washer, and tightening with your hex nut, hand tighten into place. Now we'll attach our front door assembly. To do this, we'll be using our same hardware as we did for our back panel. Line the holes in your front door assembly, making sure the pegs on your hinges are pointed up. And again, using first your bolt, then your flat washer, place through the hole of your decorative piece and your pedestal, and on the opposite side, using your flat washer, then spring washer, then hex nut, hand tighten into place. Repeat this step for your second bolt on your opposite side. Now, after all the bolts are hand tightened, using a 10mm wrench for the hex nut and a Phillips head screwdriver for the bolt, tighten all of your bolts into place. Be sure not to over tighten to avoid stripping. Next, we'll be attaching our sides labeled as H. To do this, we'll be using 4 of our short bolts, 4 of our hex nuts, and 8 of our flat washers. Line the holes with the side panel H and the front and back pieces we previously installed. From the back, using the flat washer and bolt, place through both holes. Then, using again your flat washer, then your hex nut, hand tighten into place. Repeat this with your 3 remaining holes and also with your second side. When you have both of your sides hand tightened in with your bolts, go back with your 10mm wrench and your Phillips head screwdriver and tighten them into place. Again, be sure not to over tighten to avoid stripping. Now we're going to attach our chimney. To do this, lift up the chimney and place on top To secure the chimney, we'll be using our hardware. First, our 4 remaining Phillips bolts, 4 of our hex nuts, and 8 of our flat washers. Match up the corners of your fire pit with your chimney. First, using your bolt, then your flat washer, place through and up to your chimney. Then, using another flat washer, then your hex nut, hand tighten into place. Repeat this with your 3 remaining bolts. After you have all of your bolts hand tightened, go back and fully tighten using your wrench and your screwdriver. Now we'll be attaching our doors. To do so, place the hinge of the door onto the peg hinge on the front of the fire pit. Slide down like so. If you have any problems attaching your door, loosen your chimney and lift up. Then replace and tighten back into place. Next, we'll attach our door lock and handle. To do this, we'll use 2 of our flat washers and 1 of our hex nuts. First, place a flat washer on the bolt on the inside of the lock. Place through the hole through the door, and on the opposite side, add a flat washer, then your bolt. Tighten into place using your 10mm wrench. Finally, insert your fire bowl and your log rack, and there you have your finished fire pit.